After what I saw at Clash at the Castle, I 100% believe we're getting Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa at Money in the Bank. I don't think it's going to be a six-man tag. That match, honestly, is going to be for SmackDown. That's not a pay-per-view match I think they're going to build. Could it be at a PLE? Sure, but I don't think they're going to have Cody be one of those champions that doesn't defend the championship at a PLE when he's on it. I think he's defending the championship, and I think it's going to be against Solo. Solo had said previously that he has a plan for Cody Rhodes, and he doesn't even know it yet, and I think it's time now he's going to step up to try to bring the championship back to the Bloodline. During that match, I think this when Roman Reigns comes back. I think Roman Reigns shocks the world and comes back at Money in the Bank to confront Solo and make sure that he doesn't win. Or after Cody beats Solo in the ring, Roman will come out afterwards and confront Solo because that is just bound to happen. And I personally think that's going to lead to Roman and Solo having a match at SummerSlam. And the next thing I'm going to say is going to be so disgusting to some people, but I think Solo is going to win that match for storyline purposes that I'll explain. And I know that's going to be an unpopular opinion for some people because some people believe Solo doesn't have no aura, and some people are just really going to expect Roman Reigns to come back and continue to win the way he did because he did it for so long, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Now just hear me out. Number one, Roman Reigns, with the type of character that he's playing right now, he's only lost really 2 times. He got pinned by Jey Uso and he got pinned by Cody Rhodes, but those 2 things made sense for storyline purposes, and he lost a little other matches here and there where he wasn't pinned or anything, but he's only been pinned twice as the Tribal Chief. They have to protect Roman's losses for him to make sense because he can't just be losing to anybody at this point. Solo makes sense for storyline purposes because when Roman Reigns comes back, he's not going to have anybody by his side. For the first time since 2020, Roman Reigns legitimately is going to be by himself. When he comes back, the Bloodline's not going to be on his side, I don't think. Solo's not going to go back to being his enforcer, and Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa aren't going to acknowledge him as their tribal chief. They're with Solo. So whatever Solo does, they're going to do the same thing. So it's really going to be Roman Reigns, kind of on the outside of the Bloodline like every other opponent was when he was in the Bloodline. This is pure storytelling at its finest right here. This is what I really think is going to happen. Roman Reigns had the Bloodline for so long, and he was in that group, and they dominated, and they protected him for so long where he didn't have to worry about people coming after him. And even when they did come after him, he always knew he had the Bloodline there to watch his back. Now he don't got nobody there to watch his back. And I think this is where the pure story comes in. I think the Bloodline is going to do to him what the Bloodline did to everybody else previously in the past. They're going to outnumber him, which is going to allow Solo to beat Roman. He's not going to beat Roman straight up by himself. The Bloodline is going to help him and make sure that he does win. You know that famous term, you reap what you sow? I think Roman Reigns is going to finally be on the outside instead of on the inside, because if it goes down that way, he'll get outmatched by the Bloodline that he created now that has turned on him, and then it's going to set him back and realize he made a lot of mistakes that he has to correct. I think he's then going to go back and try to recruit Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, to get back with him to be on the side to take down the new version of the Bloodline, because Roman's going to realize he can't take them down by himself. When Cody Rhodes finally took down Roman Reigns at WrestleMania into his reign, he had the backup he needed because he wasn't going to be able to beat Roman by himself with Solo there, and then you still had Jimmy in the fold. Like, whoever was going to be there to watch Roman's back, and The Rock was also there too, so like, whoever was in the Bloodline to watch Roman's back, you gotta have some type of backup to be able to take them down. That was proven within the story. Now I think Roman's going to realize if he's going to take down this new Bloodline, because this new Bloodline's out of control. They're a wild pack of dogs. Like, the wise man is the wise man for a reason, because when he's with Roman Reigns is able to take the advice from the wise man. Sometimes he may not take his advice, but he can sit back and listen to him and look at the playing field and analyze, and what's the smartest move we can make. Because there's always consequences to your actions. Roman Reigns understands that as far as his character goes. So we got to look at the playing field to understand what's the best move we have to make right here. Solo's not that. He's not looking at the playing field. He's just going after whoever. His motivation is, we gonna beat down whoever, and it don't matter what type of consequences are happening. We just gonna do whatever we want. And whether a majority of the WWE audience likes Solo or not, they're telling us really that Solo is going to be somebody special, at least in my eyes. I don't think they would be planting all these seeds of calling him the next tribal chief and having him in these positions, if they don't have really big plans for him. So I don't think it looks good for him to lose to Roman if Roman comes back. If Roman loses to Solo, that shocks everybody, because I don't think too many people would see that coming, Roman, but he doesn't lose to Solo clean. Obviously, Solo now has his own bloodline, and Solo is going to do to Roman what Roman has done to everybody else over the last, 4 damn years. Because I believe we all think the War Games match is going to be the OG bloodline versus this new bloodline, and I've heard that Tama Tonga and Tanga Loa's younger brother Hikuleo is on the way, and I think he's going to probably debut at SummerSlam to be the factor to really help this new bloodline be established in dominance, because Hikuleo's 6'8". So he's going to be a force to be reckoned with within that bloodline. So if he makes his debut to make sure Roman loses, that allows Roman to go back and get Jimmy and Jay. And they also could bring Sami Zayn back in as the honorary Uso. There's your War Games match right there. Or they could bring in Jacob Fatu, who signed with WWE, hasn't appeared yet, but we know he's there. He can end up being on Roman's side because he's close to the Usos and everything. So that honestly could be a story right there within itself too. There's a lot of factors that could play into it, and that could be the big War Games match. But I honestly see the direction from Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. Solo versus Cody. Roman comes back, confronts Solo. They have their match at SummerSlam. Hikuleo probably debuts there, and Solo shocks the world by beating Roman Reigns, which will allow Roman Reigns to then go back and recruit the OG bloodline. But now their babyface is trying to take down this new version of the bloodline that's out of control.